Hello and welcome back to Sami's A+ YouTube channel. Today I'm going to show you some mistakes that students make on their tests or assignments. So in the A, B, C, the mistake they make, they lose half of the answer. So they answer half of the question basically, but the last one, they're totally wrong. Indeed, they'll be totally wrong. So let's see why they make these mistakes. Here, this equation equated to 0 and it's in factored form. So what they did, they went 3x plus 2 equals 0, and that's part of the solution, yes. And they moved the 2 to the side as -2 and then divided both sides by 3. But what they forgot to do is this x also give them another solution, which is x equals 0. Because you know, if you make x 0 here, then 0 times the whole thing here is going to give you 0. B, you know, it's funny, this mistake, I made it myself when I was in grade 11, while I was answering trig identities question on a test, and I was going really fast, and then I forgot half of the answer. So what did the person do? And they made the same mistake that I exactly made on my test. They saw this and they got really excited and say, you know what, I'm going to divide this by x and I'm going to divide by x. Then I get x equals 1. And that's half of the answer. What they should have done, they should have gone x squared and took the x to the other side minus x equated to 0. And then what they do, they take x out as the greatest common factor and they're going to get x minus 1 now equals 0. And now you know the answer is going to be x equals 0 and 1. So as you see here, they missed part of the answer. How about here? Here it's solving for x when you have 2x squared equals 6. They divided both sides by 2. And what they did, when they square rooted both sides after getting x squared equals 3, and they square rooted both sides, they forgot to write plus or minus root 3. Because you know, like if we had x squared equals 16, when we square root both sides, we're going to get x equals plus or minus 4. Because 4 squared is 16, and also -4 when you square it. -4 times -4 gives you 16. How about here? Here is definitely a big mistake. And in this one here, you could only factor if you have the right side equals 0. Because if it equals 6, you don't know what combination you're going to get to be able to make it 6. I mean, yeah, I might make this 3 and this 3, because then 3 minus 1 is 2, and then that's 3. 2 times 3 is 6, but it's very hard to think about it that way. However, why do equate to 0? And you know what? Lots of students, they do this without knowing why they equate to 0. What they should have done here, they should have gone distributed the x inside, and they got an x squared minus x. And then, you know what? I'm going to move the 6 to this side. So it's going to become minus 6 equals 0. Factor, you're going to get x minus 3 and x plus 2, because that's what multiplies to give you -6 and add to give you -1. And therefore, x equals 3 and -2. And these are the correct answers and not these. Okay. Why do we equate to 0? Because if you equate to 0, all you need to do is just make one of the brackets equal 0, and then the whole thing becomes 0. Because if you make, let's say, this bracket 0, then 3 minus 3 is 0, even though that's 3 plus 2 is 5, but you know 0 times 5 is going to give you 0. And the same thing, if you put -2 here, which makes this bracket 0 and makes this bracket -5, but because this is 0 now, 0 times -5 is going to give you 0. And that's why we equate to 0, because then it's very easy to see. And the mistake I made in my trig identities is I had cos squared x equals cos x. And when I did, I divided both sides by cos x, which is, that's going to give you half the answer. And I got cos x equals 1. And for any of you who are in grade 12, and did triggered entities, you would know this will only give you half the answer because you should have done it this way right here that I've shown you, and then you would have gotten cos x equals 0 and 1 instead of just 1. And then you'll have more angles in your answer. But that's another lesson altogether. I have some videos on this if you'd like to check my Trig 12 playlist. You'll find some questions like this if you're interested. Again, thanks for watching, and thank you for supporting, and see you next time. Bye-bye.